creo que puedo hablar antes con mis compañeros. ¿A quién es? Ay, güey, como que está muy sensible el mouse. Ahí está, un poco mejor. Ahora, ¿dónde estaba? Acá está, de este lado. Creo que tengo que hablar antes con mis compañeros, bueno, para iniciar las relaciones, ¿no? O sea, entre personajes. Kaidan. ¿Qué cuentas, hijo?
Anything you need, Commander?
Ajá, evaluación táctica.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
I don't see how we could have done things any better. At least not without getting to Eden Prime sooner. And we were on the scene faster than any other Alliance ship could have been.
Información personal.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
Ok.
We'll talk another time, Lieutenant.
Commander?
Aquí creo que está la doctora Chacuas, ¿no? Sí.
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
How well do you know the Lieutenant?
I'd never worked with him before this mission. But he has an impressive service record. Over a dozen special commendations. Tends to keep to himself, though. Maybe because of the headaches. It's not easy being an L2.
What does that have to do with it?
Creo que eso ya había
Well,
hablado con
most
ella.
biotics now use the L3 implants. Lieutenant Alenka was wired with the old L2 configuration. Sometimes there are complications.
What kind of complications?
Severe mental disabilities, insanity, crippling physical pain. There's a long list of horrific side effects. Caden's lucky. He just gets migraines.
I
Vale.
should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
Ashley está hasta abajo junto con Garrus. ¿Qué decía aquí? ¿Activar qué? Ascensor, ok. A ver. Acá atrás. Ah, cierto, aquí también está Tali. Fuck, como que está cargando mucho, ¿no? No me acordaba que cargara tanto. Un poco de experiencia.
Hey, Commander, you know that Quarian, Tally? She's been spending all her time down here asking me about our engines.
I'll tell her to leave you alone.
What? No, she's amazing. I wish my guys were half as smart as she is. Give her a month on board and she'll know more about our engines than I do. She's got a real knack for technology, that one. I can see why you wanted her to come along.
I figured she'd be a real asset to the team.
You got an eye for Tally, Commander, but I'm guessing that's not why you came down here.
Vamos a saber un poco de la Normandía
More
aquí.
about the Normandy.
She's the best ship I've ever served on, probably the fastest vessel ever designed. And she's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
What's so special about the Tantalus drive core?
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel. Not only are we faster, but we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
Vale. No creo que... Sistema de sigilo y preguntas personales, nada.
Carry on.
Vamos con Tali.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Bueno, justamente como decía, Tali y los cuarianos son buenos en esto tecnológicamente, más que nada en las naves, porque pues siempre viven en ellas, entonces tienen que estar constantemente reparándolas y también cuando ya unas naves ya no sirven, obviamente las dejan a la deriva en el espacio, pero se me traba la lengua. Toman todos los recursos que tiene la nave que sirven todavía, motores, válvulas, cosas así.
Your ship's amazing, Shepard. I've never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
The Normandy's a prototype. Cutting-edge technology.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla. Now, I'm sitting on board one of the most advanced vessels in Citadel space. I have to thank you again for bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
Aquí, bueno, obviamente puedo ser malo con ella o puedo ser pues, bueno, ¿no? Esto influye justamente en la relación que tienes con ellos. No sé si también te den rebeldía o virtud. Pero bueno, pues realmente no, no me gusta ser muy malo en los juegos, ¿no? Aunque a veces es divertido.
It comes with being a Quarian. The migrant fleet is the key to the survival of my people. Ships are our most valuable resource. But we don't have anything like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can. Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being repaired, modified, and refitted. They aren't pretty, but they work. Mostly. We've tried to make ourselves as independent as possible on the flotilla. Grow our own food, mine, and process our own fuel. But some things we just can't make on our own. A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
Aquí nos cuentan un poco de su historia.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet. There are 17 million Quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong. Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child.
Como los japoneses.
If our population grows too much, it
Bueno,
will
no sé.
strain our resources
Hay rumores,
to a
¿no?
breaking point. Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few. If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed. In extreme cases of population decline, incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births, though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole. On matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials.
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction. The 5 top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board. These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency. To do so requires unanimous agreement among the Admiralty, and they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts. It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave 4 times.
Vale. Aquí también nos van a hablar de los Geth. Los Geth son las máquinas que encontramos al inicio del juego, cuando encontramos a esta Ashley. Nos cuentan lo que yo mencionaba, ¿no? Que ellos fueron los que los crearon y después los Geth los intentaron exterminar a ellos una vez que tuvieron más conciencia de lo que eran los seres vivos, por así decirlo.
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins, what they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
How come the Council didn't step in and stop you?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal. The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. A million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
Vamos a saber por qué se rebelaron.
What made them rebel?
As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose? As you can imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
What did you do?
It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against their situation. We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first. A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
You can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution. By acting quickly, we had a chance to end the war before it began. The hope was that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the veil. Now we drift through space, exile, searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
It's hard to feel sorry for you. Your ancestors tried to wipe out another species.
We made a mistake when we created the Geth in the first place, but we did not make a mistake when we went to war against them. If we had not acted, they would have wiped us out. They're a synthetic life form. They have no use for organics. None. Why do you think they cut themselves off from the rest of the galaxy? Why do you think they've killed every organic being who's ever tried to contact them?
No todos esto.
They didn't kill Saren.
What does that tell you? The Geth are not innocent victims in all this. They're the enemy. They want to destroy us. Not just the Quarians. All organic life. That's why they've joined up with Saren. And that's why we have to stop him.
Vale. Lo del peregrinaje ya lo explicaron en la ciudadela.
I should go.
Que
See you later.
cuando entran como de la adolescencia, en la fuck, se me traba la lengua. Cuando son jóvenes adultos, entran en una especie de peregrinación en la que salen de su flotilla e intentan hacer algo, digamos, algo sobresaliente para sobresaltar, o bueno, para regresar, por así decirlo, a la flotilla después con digamos, como con una victoria. Entonces por eso Tali aquí nos está ayudando. Este es simplemente un comerciante.
Looking for some extra supplies before you head out?
What have you got?
Whatever you want. Armor, weapons, mods. It's not standard Alliance issue, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, as long as you don't mind paying for it.
Why should I pay you for my weapons and armor?
My stuff doesn't come from the Alliance. I have to purchase it myself, and it's not cheap. Hell, the licenses alone have set me back more than I'd like. But no licenses, no goods. Without the goods, I'm out of a job.
Let's see what you've got.
You bet, Commander.
Vale. Ok, ya tiene la licencia para cosas de espectros. Aunque todo está muy caro, no creo que poder comprar nada. Pero granadas. Ok, esto sí me sirve. Compro eso, una mejora de Medigel y mejora de granada. Ahora puedo tener más. Vale, vamos a hablar con Garrus.
Thanks for bringing me on board, Commander. I knew working with the Spectre would be better than life at CSAC.
Have you worked with a Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. At C-Sec, you're buried by rules. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
For the most part, the rules are there for a reason.
Maybe. But sometimes it feels like the rules are only there to stop me from doing my work. If I'm trying to take down a suspect, it shouldn't matter how I do it, as long as I do it. But C-Sec wants it done their way. Protocol and procedure come first. That's why I left.
So you just quit because you didn't like the way they do things?
There's more to it than that. It didn't start out bad, but as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. C-Sec's handling of Saren was typical. I just couldn't take it anymore. I hate leaving.
I hope you made the right choice. I'd hate for you to regret it later.
Well, that's sort of why I teamed up with you. It's a chance for me to get off the Citadel, see how things are done outside C-Sec. Either way, I plan to make the most of this. And without C-Sec headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
As long as you do your job well, you're free to go about your business as you see fit.
Thank you, Commander.
Vale. Esto básicamente lo vamos a tener que hacer cada vez que terminemos una, digamos, una misión de mundo. Hay que hablar con ellos para ver cómo o qué piensan de lo que pasó en la misión y cosas así. Y así vamos generando un lazo con ellos en, digamos, en la historia, en el juego. Y nos van contando más cosas. Y ya, obviamente eso se lleva a las siguientes partidas de Mass Effect 2 y Mass Effect 3. Obviamente también pues tenemos relaciones entre personajes, como a lo mejor, creo que aunque tú seas un personaje masculino, puedes tener una relación sentimental con Garrus, ¿no? O con otros personajes. Y obviamente también con las mujeres, ya sea por ejemplo ella que es humana, Tali la acuariana, y está... ¡Ah! Se me olvidó. Esta Liara.
Commander?
Ajá.
Do you have a few minutes to talk one-on-one?
I'm sorry, Commander. I need to get my duties squared away. I wouldn't mind talking more later, though.
Okay.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Kinda wish you got there sooner, Commander. No offense, I appreciate the rescue. I just wish...
We came as soon as we got the distress call, even with the fastest ship in the fleet.
You did the best you could, Commander. It's my fault. If I had been more alert, we wouldn't have been cut down by an ambush.
The Geth are perfect ambushers. They don't move, they don't make noise, they don't even breathe.
Sir, they have flashlight heads. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
También mientras tú vas, digamos, siendo más bueno o más malo, van cambiando un poco las expresiones. Cuando Shepard se vuelve más rebelde, tiende a tener más, digamos, un carácter más duro.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Creo que esto se repite.
Kinda wish you... No offense, I appreciate the rescue. I just wish...
You wish we'd been able to
Yes,
save...
if I had been more alert, we wouldn't have been cut...
Sí, se repite,
I'll make sure
¿vale?
it doesn't happen again.
Dismissed you.
Sir.
Cuando ya se empiezan a repetir así las conversaciones, pues quiere decir que ya no tiene nada que decir. Y simplemente queda seguir con la siguiente misión. Que en este caso la primera iba a ser ir al planeta donde se encontraba Liara, la hija de la que está aliada con Saren. Listo. Creo que puedo hablar también con Presley. O ya hablé con él, no recuerdo.
If anyone has to take over for Captain Anderson, I'm glad it's you. I'm not sure about having non-humans on our ship, though.
We're all on the same team here, Presley.
With all due respect, sir, that's what they said about Nihilus. Look how that turned out.
Bueno, Nihilus estaba realmente de nuestra parte y Saren lo mató, entonces nunca nos engañó. Aquí puede ser un poco cabrón, ¿no?
I'm in charge here, Presley. I decide if we have non-humans on this vessel.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Eso, no digas nada más. Vámonos ya.
Carry on, Presley.
Un momento. Me dieron 2 virtudes y rebeldía. Generalmente, o bueno, lo que quiero hacer de hecho es intentar mantenerme así generalmente entre la mitad, ¿no? Entre ser medio bueno y ser medio malo. Dependiendo de lo que surja, ¿no?
Commander, something you need? I'd like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going. You did a background check on me, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the captain. You want me as your pilot. I'm not good. I'm not even great. I am the best damn helmsman in the Alliance fleet. Top of my class in flight school, I earned that. All those commendations in my file, I earned every single one. Those weren't given to me as charity for my disease.
Vale. Aquí Joker nos va a contar justamente de su enfermedad. No recuerdo muy bien qué es, creo que es como muy débil. Se le puede romper los huesos muy fácil, una cosa así.
What are you talking about? Are you sick?
You mean you didn't know? Oh, crap. Okay, I've got Vrolik syndrome, brittle bone disease. The bones in my legs never develop properly. They're basically hollow, too much force and they'll shatter. Even with crutches and my leg braces, it's hard to get around. One wrong step and crack! It's very dramatic. But I've learned to manage my condition, Commander. Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her dance for you. Just don't ask me to get up and dance unless, you like the sound of snapping shin bones.
Why does everyone call you Joker?
It's a lot shorter than saying Alliance Flight Lieutenant Jeff Moreau. Plus, I love to make little children laugh.
I was just thinking how much you remind me of Santa Claus.
Look, I didn't pick the name. One of the instructors in flight school used to bug me about never smiling. She started calling me Joker, and it stuck.
Why didn't you ever smile?
Hey, I worked my ass off in flight school, Commander. The world's not gonna hand you anything if you go around grinning like an idiot. By the end of the year, I was the best pilot in the academy, even better than the instructors, and everybody knew it. They'd all got their asses kicked by the sickly kid with the creaky little legs. One guess who was smiling at graduation?
I need to know more about this Vrolik syndrome if I'm putting my ship in your hands.
Yeah, of course you do. It's an extremely rare condition. Nobody knows exactly what causes it. Genetic, maybe. It's treatable, but there's no cure. They classify my case as moderate to severe. I was born with over a dozen fractures, hip, thighs, ankles. My bones were already breaking in the womb. 100 years ago, I wouldn't have survived past my first year. Lucky for me, modern medical science has turned me into a productive member of society.
You're not gonna break a bone trying to fly the ship, are you?
I don't fly with my feet, Commander, so I'm fine as long as I'm in this chair. I gotta be real careful when I get up to take a piss, though. I can do my job as well as anyone on the ship. Better, actually. So don't worry about it.
I have to go.
Alright, see ya.
Vale, obviamente Joker es uno de los personajes favoritos en la serie por su sarcasmo y todo eso. De hecho, nunca supe si puedes también tener una relación sentimental con él. Nunca lo he visto, o no que yo recuerde. Por lo menos no con los Shepards hombre. Tal vez alguien que juegue una Shepard mujer lo hará. Que por cierto también hay algunos que pueden tener preferencias sexuales. En el 2, bueno, en el Mass Effect 2 hay una chica que es lesbiana, si no mal recuerdo. O si no, creo que estoy hablando de Mass Effect Andrómeda, olvídenlo.